Hello, hello, hello. What up, everybody? I am your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the Filmbros podcast. We're live streaming right now, obviously. We are here on a special day, all right? At the time
Saturday.
of recording this, for those on podcast and for those on live stream, it's obviously Saturday the 16th, and that is, Josh, what day is it?
It's Batman Day.
Batman Day. It's a good day. Long live the Bat, apparently. Warner Brothers is celebrating it. DC celebrating it. Everybody's coming out with their whole appreciation Bat posts on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck we call it now. But as always, on a good day like Bat Day or any other day, honestly, Josh, let them know, for the ones on the podcast version, where they can talk to us, tell us about a movie they want to review, if they want to catch a live stream, and if they want to support us in a big way.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, we're on a bunch of those things. Those are our socials at Filmbros Podcast. We post new movies. When new episodes are out, hit us up for any news or movies you want us to cover. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, things like that, at Filmbros Podcast. The link is also in those bios. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, it's kind of like a Patreon. You help us grow. Special subscribers get special perks, things like that. And then you can subscribe to our YouTube at Filmbros Podcast and catch us live on Twitch at Filmbros Podcast.
Cha. All that, and for the people in the live stream, well, you see everywhere you could go to follow us, talk to us, and if you're here, interact with us, have the conversation. We put everything on the live stream. We show where we're getting our sources from. We get the credit in. We do all that.
Yeah.
And always hit the notification bell for our live streams because, well, we're still doing them at random. And at the same time, for the podcast listeners out there, you guys do get exclusive episodes as well, so you guys don't feel left out. And without further ado, let's jump right into this episode, Batman Day. We're going to start with some Batman, with some DC. And I wanted to kind of talk about all the live-action Batmans that basically have blessed our screen. We had Adam West's Batman back in 1966. Michael Keaton's Batman. He played in Batman Returns, and recently The Flash. Kevin Conroy, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. That one came out in 93. Val Kilmer in Batman Forever. Some people argue that he's one of the better Batmans. It's just crazy. George Clooney, Batman and Robin. Christian Bale, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Ben Affleck, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and The Flash. That's a crazy thing to say. Will Arnett played the Batman in the Lego Batman movie as of recently. Robert Pattinson played the Batman, and Keanu Reeves played the Batman in DC's The League of Super Pets.
Oh, wow. He played, really?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
You haven't seen that movie?
No.
Oh.
I'm not a child.
I got kids. I'm
not a child.
I got kids. That's why I watched it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And you say you're a DC fan.
I'm not going to watch a kids movie.
How do you support Batman Day and not watch DC stuff?
I do better than that. I read his comics, all right? It's...
Oh, the other day you told me you saw Batpeen.
I didn't say the other day I was reading it. That's out of context. There's a comic out there with it. I mean, everyone's read it, I think, at some point.
Not me.
No, well, obviously not you.
Yeah. He said that Batman was packing. I was like, damn, bro.
He's backpacking.
But I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite live action?
Live action?
All-time favorite live action Batman?
Ben Affleck Batman.
Ben
Affleck's Batman, all-time favorite, live action-wise. And, I mean, the animated version, obviously, Kevin Conroy, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, he's the definitive, animated Batman. I don't think anybody else really lives up. I know a lot of people praise Will Arnett for the League, or not the League, the Lego movie.
And people are praising Jensen Ackles right now because he's currently doing it.
I don't see the hype for that one. I feel like that one's like a 50-50 still. I feel like he's a hard pill to swallow, but I think he does have that look of Bruce Wayne and stuff where people that's why people are coming up and like, oh yeah, he should be the next Batman in the DCU. But I think his voice needs some work or something. I don't think. Voice. Yeah, his Batman voice. I don't think he. I think he has everything else. It's just the Batman side of him that he would need to work on. I see him more of a Captain America type thing. That's why I thought when they put him as Soldier Boy, I was like, that's who he reminds me of like somebody active. I don't see him like a stalker in the night type shit.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Your favorite?
Damn. It's always going to be a tie between Ben Affleck and Christian Bale. Christian Bale because I grew up with him and I love his iteration of the Batman. But then if I say who would win in a fight, I know Ben Affleck's taking that shit.
Oh, yeah. He's beating his ass.
And it would be bad. I mean, we saw what Bane did to him. Just imagine what Affleck would do if he got his hands on him. So,
a few more Batman-related questions. Favorite Batman live-action scene?
Oh, that's actually pretty good. Action scene or just any scene in general?
We'll do action scene and then regular scene is fine.
Okay, action scene. I got to give it to Christian Bale against Bane. And it was in the underwater one,
in the sewer.
In the sewer, yeah. I love that fight. I think I've really felt the hits and impacts. I think that was the first time I was like, I always thought Christian Bale's fighting was always clunky.
Yeah.
And at least with this one, you kind of seen some kind of aggression behind it. And I knew it was for the plot to kind of show that he was losing control kind of thing. But I really liked the way he fought there. And I would wish that he would have done that more often. And he kind of did in the beginning of that movie too. But I think that scene itself was like really good. I know Ben Affleck's scene blows it out the water. But purely from like stakes, emotion, and on top of that, the fighting on it, like, I feel like that one really hits for like an action scene.
Okay.
What about you?
That's fair. The warehouse scene. I know everyone talks about it, but it's a tie between that one and I guess him actually fighting Superman. But those two gotta take the cake. If I had to pick one from Christian Bale's, I think it's the first time he meets the Joker when he crashes his party or whatever.
Oh, and they have like that tense little standoff. Okay, I see that. What about like, who's the best Bruce Wayne? Who played him to a T? Like you were like, okay, fuck yeah.
I think that's probably still a tie between Bale and Affleck.
I think very controversial. I think George Clooney's up there too as a good Bruce Wayne.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he obviously as Batman it was kind of like what did you do? Yeah, but I think his Bruce Wayne was very, even when I seen him in The Flash too, I was like, okay, yeah, like I could believe him as a Bruce Wayne, like a millionaire kind of dude, but all the other aspects of him being a Batman and all that stuff, the Bat card, that credit card, whatever, I'm good. And that's probably just the direction.
You don't got a wallet on there. He's like, come prepared.
If they give him a fair shake at an actual Batman adaptation, we can judge him off that. But I would just hope it wouldn't be the same thing as what like Keaton was doing.
I was gonna ask worst Bruce Wayne.
Worst Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, that's a fun question.
I gotta say Pattinson. I hate him as Bruce Wayne. He's not a good Bruce Wayne. But I guess we can understand. I get it. It's because it's,
he's Batman. He's taking over. Yeah. He doesn't know how to balance.
He's in a recluse or whatever. I don't give a shit, man. It is not Bruce Wayne.
Nah, I think Keaton might be my least favorite Bruce Wayne.
I don't know. Every time you bring up Keaton, I just feel like you have like some personal vendetta against him.
I'm not allowed to not like him? Is that what it is?
No, at this point, I think it's just like harassment now.
Nah, man.
If you don't like him, it's just harassment.
Well, no, because I know there's a fan base out there that says he did better in the Flash and stuff.
Yeah, but I think they're above 50.
Yeah, I don't think so. Above 50. Let us know if you liked Keaton's Bruce Wayne or Batman.
Like I said, he's iconic. I give him his cult classic status. I give him the respect. He is one of the OGs. But me personally, I never grew up and was like, that's my Batman.
Yeah, that's my Batman.
That's my Batman. His fucking fighting is just insane. But we can all believe that he took down a Kryptonian. That's fine.
Do you have a favorite animated movie?
Animated movie? I like the one with, it's probably out of the new animation slots where, is it Batman with his kid, with Damien?
Oh.
And he has that whole like skerfuffle with him.
Oh, where he fights him?
Yeah.
That's Batman versus Robin.
Yeah, I like that one.
The Court of Owls is in there.
I really enjoyed that one. I think that one was the one that made me want to say, like, I want to see the Court of Owls in live action. But now everybody's kind of pushing that agenda, and they really want to see it with Robert Pattinson. And I'm just like, not with him. I want to see it with, like, an agile Batman taking on all these, like, you know,
ninjas, actual ninjas.
Yeah.
Not some boxer.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, yeah, no, don't push for Robert Pattinson's. Like, if Ben Affleck would have took on the Court of Owls, stretcher, hospital, morgue. You're not getting back up. Damn, are you good?
Yeah, no. The Court of Owls would not have lasted too long. I don't know.
They're going to dump clips on him and be like, oh, shoot for his face. They're going to keep missing.
Just his chin.
Keep bouncing off. I would say that's, like, my top tier. But what about you? What your animated?
There's, I think there's a few. That's the thing. Mask of the Phantasm is a good one. I like I know technically technically a Batman story, not a Bruce Wayne story, but the Return of the Joker, Batman Beyond, that's a good one.
I like, obviously, the Batman Returns. I like the old broken down Batman too. I know a lot of people say that one caused a lot of damage to the Batman brand, but I don't give a shit. I really like seeing
that's a good one.
Hopeless one when it's done right.
Under the Red Hood is a good one.
I was gonna say something similar. I was gonna say, I don't know if, like, video games count too, but obviously Arkham Knight's one of my top tier.
It's a good
one. Arkham City is one of my top tier too, because of Hugo Strange, and why we don't utilize him more often in movies is ridiculous. He's like one of, if not the evilest, most, like, maniacal dude, but, like, the easiest to maybe adapt into live action too. And I wish we could, after playing Arkham City as a kid, I was just like, dude, I wish we would have seen him, like, in live action with what's his name, Christopher Lee.
I'm sure there's a deeper conversation to be had, but I don't think people can handle that kind of intellectual villain.
Probably because he does play him kind of like a lot of mental games with Batman and Bruce Wayne, and it's not like the Riddler mental games where it's like, oh, you're gonna figure this out. It's like he really does a number on him. And I've read a couple comic books with Hugo Strange after seeing playing Arkham City, and he's a good adversary. I don't know why he's overlooked so much. Probably because he's bald. Baldgate is real.
Damn. Come over the neck. But yeah, there's a lot of good things, a lot of Batman media over the years, and I just wanted to shed a light on it because it is Batman Day. So that was nice.
Yeah, Batman Day is always a good time, but something that's not a good time is obviously what we don't get in. That's Batgirl. So
damn,
we got the directors coming out to discuss Batgirl because they were what's her name, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah told Insider while promoting their new movie. It's a war drama called Rebel. That they basically asked him the question. You saw The Flash, him knowing that, you know, Keaton was supposed to be in Batgirl.
Yeah.
They kind of answered saying that we watched it and we were sad. We love Andy Muschietti and his sister Barbara who produced the movie, but when we watched it, we felt we could have been part of the whole thing. We didn't get a chance to show Batgirl to the world and let the audience judge for themselves, because the audience is really our ultimate boss and should be the deciders if something is good or bad, or if something should be seen or not. Let's be honest. I think we figured out that we didn't want to watch it before they put it into production. But I'm going to keep going with the quote. Our movie was very different than The Flash. That has a big fantasy component. Ours was more grounded, more like Tim Burton's Gotham City. He said, shelving Batgirl was the biggest disappointment of our careers. As a fanboy, just to be in the presence of Keaton as Batman, that's just a privilege and an honor, but it's a bittersweet feeling. They go on to say that they still have a feeling of unfinished business. Our love for DC, Batman, Batgirl, Gotham City, it's so big that as fans, we could never say no to another project. If we get another chance to be part of it, we do it. We didn't get our day in court. We still want to make our case. So they would want to come back for...
Yeah, they'd want to retry.
For James Gunn's DCU, probably.
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's go down the first question, and the first question is, They shelved it without any remorse, right?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't give a shit. They didn't even. I think they gave them like one screening to say goodbye. Hey, what up, Savage Nessa? I think they gave them like one screening to say goodbye, and that was it. Do you think that James Gunn and them have even sat down and had conversations about even returning to the DCU, and maybe Zaslav too? What if Zaslav was like, I've seen the movie, it's hot garbage, we don't want to do it again? Do you think that any conversations have even happened?
I'm sure they've had that conversation. I think if they're bringing it out now, they're either gearing up to have that conversation, or they're putting it out there to be like, hey, you need directors and we need jobs. So but James Gunn said he hasn't even begun to even think about Batman yet, surprisingly.
Well, yeah, that's obviously cap. You cannot not have thought about that already, especially if you're planning out the next, what'd he say, 10 years, right?
Oh, yeah, but if they haven't started anything, it's just he's a concept. He wants to bring him in with Batman in the Bold, but if that's not further down the line, he still has Superman to get through.
I see what you mean, but it's more like, because he already said that Andy Muschietti was going to be directing. I'm fairly confident they're having conversations on where the direction's going to go, where they're going to put it, even if Andy Muschietti is still attached, because obviously The Flash was a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Why he stuck himself in that position in the first place, where he was like, hey, we're going to give him the Batman before we even see The Flash finish up, is beyond me. I don't know why James Gunn did that in the first place. They should have waited, and even then they probably could have gave Batman to these guys, but at the same time they're not going to do something like that.
What do you call it? They can't take Batgirl off the shelf just like that because it was a tax write-off. So technically this movie doesn't exist.
Yeah. That it exists, but it will never see the light of day again. They completely said this movie is going to be shelved. We want some compensation back for the cost
and all that.
that we put into it, and then eventually they'll go ahead and get their money back eventually, probably tax season, however the fuck that works or whatever.
But that's the reason this movie just technically doesn't exist because they writ it off as a tax write-off.
Yeah, it's not coming off the shelf. And if it ever comes out, it'll probably leak, and that's about it. If it ever happens.
I wouldn't mind it leaking.
Because supposedly they wiped the hard drives. So I'm assuming it's kind of like a dungeon type shit. Like they have one flash drive with the movie in it, and it's all the way down in the secret bunker where they have to put fingerprints, handprints. They have
real life Batman on
toes. Yeah, they're like, protect this. He's like, I will.
Yeah.
It's Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is Batman.
He's like, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. But I don't know. I could totally see it happening. I could totally see them coming back for Batgirl. I don't know if they'll take a stab at it, because I mean, why would you can't exactly use the same script and all that, right?
You can.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, where like they have speculation that Ben Affleck's Batman might still happen one day, because Jay Olivia won't say certain things that happen in that movie. Ben Affleck won't say certain things that happen in that movie, because WB owns the script, but they plan to use it one day, so they could easily just interchange the script wherever they want to.
They already did that with Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, all they do is just tweak it up and everything like that.
Yeah,
to make it fit for theirs. But I think Matt Reeves pushed Batfleck's script to the side, and he made his own script. So that's why his movie came out completely different. But it was just some bullshit with that one. Yeah. But what I said earlier too, and kind of what they said, that it would be up to the people on whether or not Batgirl would have seen the light of day. And let's be honest, when this movie was first announced, I don't think a lot of people were behind this movie. I think a lot of people were saying since the jump, like, we didn't care to see this iteration of Batgirl. It was
mad confusing because, I mean, the regime was still in charge. They were fans still wanted the Snyder Cut. They were announcing random bullshit like this. Blue Beetle was going to be part of it, but also a streaming movie. What else? They greenlit a Wonder Twins at one point and then scrapped that idea completely. Like a lot of these DC
greenlit
movies,
it for like 2 days and got rid of it.
Yeah, they're like, eek, that was a bad idea. And deleted it right out the fucking gate.
It's because they announced it during the whole merger thing with WBD, and then when Zaslav got a hold of it, he was just like, "What are you guys? Is it in production? No."
Then get the fuck out of here.
It's not happening.
But yeah,
it's funny.
I don't know. I think a Batgirl movie is possible, just not now. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, It's possible, and the thing is too, we would need to ensure that we're gonna get a proper setup for this Batgirl and a proper, like the whole problem with obviously Batgirl was the fact that the regime's changing, everything moving, all these pieces that were changing, and all of a sudden, Batgirl was supposed to come out after the Flash, but Aquaman was supposed to come before the Flash, and everything just kept shoveling up to the point where this movie just was it sucks, but it was kind of like putting down Old Yeller.
Damn.
Yeah. Leslie Grace was like super hyped about it though, and I think that was like the most heartbreaking part because even after like they canceled it, she was like, like putting a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, she was foiled from the start. It was crazy. But
yeah, it was a setup. Sasha Kaye too. It was a setup.
Yeah, very weird stuff.
We're not gonna see her in anything pretty soon, and that sucks.
James Gunn, if you recast her, that's got to be racist. I'm just saying. There's no way.
No.
She deserves to come back.
But speaking of James Wan wound up coming out right before that new trailer came out. Like I said, it is a DC theme, so we are going to be watching the new Aquaman 2 trailer. We have not seen it. You haven't seen it. Nope. I haven't seen it. You haven't seen it?
Nope. What?
Okay.
I haven't seen that shit.
I got to look deep into your eyes.
Why would I lie about that? I haven't seen it.
I don't know. What if you're a big fan of Aquaman?
The only thing,
and you just couldn't contain yourself?
No, I haven't.
You're like, Orm? Oh my god.
No, I haven't seen it. But
Amber Heard? Oh.
I haven't seen it. But the one thing I keep seeing floating around is Aquaman's suit drying or whatever the fuck, hanging. Have you seen that?
No.
You haven't seen that going around?
No.
Okay.
I actively avoid anything. I think the only thing I seen was people making fun of the fact that they used a same piece of the first trailer in the second trailer. It was just like him on the beach or something. And they're like, oh, they're using the same. I'm like, they do that all the time, but I understand.
Yeah.
It's the hot ticket to do right now, to just roast this movie off little things. But so questions were asked to James Wan, and he told Entertainment Weekly on his first question was basically he addressed all the reshoots. Apparently there was a bunch of reshoots. People were saying it was on its 5th, 6th, 7th reshoot, but he addresses it and he says, we have big actors in the movie and everyone is scheduled is really hard, and everyone's schedule is really hard, so we need to break up our shooting schedules in sections. We'll shoot a bit here now because this actor is available, and then we'll do another shoot now because this guy's available. People are like, oh, they're doing a whole bunch of different shoots. No, it's actually combined them all together. It's actually not many number of days at all. So he's saying that they say 5th, 6th, 7th reshoot. It's not that they got the plans approved, and because Jason Momoa is off on his own projects, Amber Heard's in Spain somewhere hiding from Johnny Depp and the mob that roasted her off of out of America. She they need time to film things, which he's gonna address the rumor too about cutting down Amber Heard's screen time and all that stuff as well. But do you believe this? Do you feel like it wasn't multiple reshoots? It was just one whole big reshoot? I call cap.
Yeah,
I call cap on the maybe in the backhand with James Gunn. Maybe it had to be in parts, but I think because the movie was said to be done in 2021. 2022 rolled around, it was still under Walter Hamada. They were still doing reshoots, and then BD wound up taking over by the end of 2022, and that we got more reshoots because of James Gunn. So
yeah, I think there was a lot of reshoots, and then when we got word of the one screening that went terrible, that's when they were like, no one liked that shit. So they sent it back to the lab, and now we're at where we're at. But I think the beginning of this movie was just like The Flash, and it had something different in it. Probably.
I mean, we know there was something different in it. At one point, Keaton and Batman were involved heavy, or Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman. Keaton's was completely wiped away. Ben Affleck replaced them, and then could potentially not have it at all. So he also addressed Batman, and would we be seeing Keaton's or Affleck's Batman coming in? He says the tricky thing early on was not knowing whether Aquaman would come out first or come out after The Flash. So we just had to be prepared. At the end of the day, the best thing I would say about this movie is that it is not connected in any way to any of those films. We won't specifically be drawn on whether any version of the Cape Crusader shows up. Teasing only. You're going to have to wait for the movie to come out.
We've heard that before. So
we're not going to see any Batman.
We saw Wonder Woman and Shazam.
We're going to see Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman?
No. I'm saying that I'm connecting the dots that they said it's not connected or whatever, and it can be its own thing, but they threw Wonder Woman in there.
Oh, the connection part.
Yeah, and if they can say that about Aquaman, but they can throw Batman in there too.
In a way, too. I mean, Aquaman's kind of like Shazam. They didn't really have any, besides maybe referencing a couple superheroes, they didn't really have any superheroes in that world. They never even showed Superman. They never showed Batman in the first one. It was all centered around Aquaman, so they could go down that same route and just be like, he's the only hero in this movie's universe or something, but it's like...
so confusing.
They're just trying to cut ties. That's the thing. They're trying to cut ties with
Ben
everything
Affleck
that came
was there for reshoots at one point.
He was. That's what I'm saying. Keaton was the original go ahead, and then he got dumped, and he had a big role in the movie because he was supposed to be what Walter Hamada was basically hinting at is the Nick Fury of his universe. So he basically had Keaton removed when Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, the head of WB's film division, they basically were like, well, if Walter Hamada's not in charge and we're in charge for this brief moment, we're gonna get Ben Affleck back. Everybody wants him back. Did the reshoots. I'm sure they didn't do another reshoot with another Batman. So they either cut him out completely or they figured out a way to kind of fit him in, and that's it. I'm thinking we're going to see him in the Clooney universe, and they're going to do a Clooney thing again and just completely be done with this shit. We'll probably see a cutscene with Clooney again.
If I see Clooney,
and then we're gonna get hints of that, and everybody's gonna be like, "Where's the Clooney verse? Where's the Clooney verse?"
Oh, God.
So, and the last thing he addresses is the Amber Heard allegations that he completely cut it down. I don't know if you heard too that leaks and rumors were coming out saying that they wound up having script notes of what Amber Heard said in court. And it basically said that James Wan yelled at her on set.
I saw
Jason Momoa said that he couldn't post anything about Aquaman without being backlash with Amber Heard stuff or whatever. And that supposedly Zack and Deborah Snyder were the only ones that stood by her.
I saw that she was
L for Zack Snyder.
L. Standing by her?
Yeah, L.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how far all that goes, and I can't really think about them cutting her down as much as they did, or cutting her out the movie entirely. I did see the tagline. They're now calling it a bromance adventure movie or whatever the fuck.
And that's what he says in this quote. He says, "I always pitch this to everyone from the get-go. The first Aquaman was Arthur and Mera's journey. The second movie was always gonna be Arthur and Orm. So the first was a romance action adventure movie. The second one was a bromance action adventure movie. We'll leave it at that."
Yeah, see, that's not what people were saying when this movie was first coming out.
He always said it was going to be a buddy comedy. But I'm assuming that was
going to be with him and Mera.
It was supposed to be with him and Orm and Mera. It was going to be a buddy comedy, and Mera was supposed to be in the back seat. Basically, have that love triangle thing. Like, oh, he needs to save her. I'm pretty sure there was going to be some kind of scene where, like, he betrayed them and, uses Mera or something like that. But it was supposed to be, like, the three of them.
That's so dumb. That's a dumb concept. I don't know how to feel about the second one, man. It's been through so much turmoil like The Flash. But, I mean, you can't really fuck up like The Flash.
Yes, you can. At this point, all these movies are going to flop. I know a lot of people are trying to still revive this shit like they were, like Shazam 2, the Beetle Battalion, the fucking Flash is the greatest comic book movie of 2023, fucking yada yada, blada blada. It don't matter. But I have the synopsis of what this movie's going to be about before we watch the trailer as well. I want us to be completely prepared because we already know what this movie's been through. We already know what's happening with this movie. We just need to see the finished product at this point. And I don't think it's going to be any better than what we got with The Flash. I don't think it's going to be
probably true
anything that great. But the synopsis saying, having failed to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta is still driven by the need to avenge his father's death. Will stop at nothing to take Aquaman down once and for all. This time, Black Manta is more formidable than ever before, wielding the power of the mythic Black Trident, which unleashes an ancient and malevolent force. To defeat him, Aquaman will turn to his imprisoned brother Orm, the former king of Atlantis, to forge an unlikely alliance together. They must set aside their differences in order to protect their kingdom and save Aquaman's family and the world from irreversible destruction.
Damn.
What do you think about that? Sounds good as a premise?
It doesn't sound too bad, I guess.
Okay. All right.
Black Manta, I loved him in the first one.
I did too, but this movie's about to be butchered. It's going to be butchered. So, we have the trailer here. We can react to it. We can talk about it. Like I said, I cared about this movie. I cared about the DCEU. I was hoping that this would do amazing. So I'm going to go into this trailer optimistic. If this trailer disappoints me like it did, like The Flash did, I will riot.
Okay.
I will riot. All right, let's go ahead.
4 years ago, I was basically unemployed. A wanderer with no home. But now, I'm a husband and a father. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know how you did it, Pops.
My job was a little less stressful than yours.
Oh yeah, I finally got a job. I'm the king of Atlantis. 500 million people from every known species in the sea call this place home. But that doesn't mean they all like me.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy everything he holds dear. I'm gonna murder his family and burn his kingdom to ash.
He must be stopped, or a global meltdown is imminent.
I think I know someone might be able to help us. Ooh, you look rough. Good job, little brother. High five.
Do not call me brother. I cannot believe you let this happen.
Yeah, well, I hate this job.
True king builds bridges, right?
True king builds bridges.
We need to find Manta.
He's different now. He's stronger than before.
It's the Black Trident. During King Atlan's time, there were 7 kingdoms. The Trident was a curse upon them all.
The Trident's dark magic is spreading.
He means to end the bloodline.
I don't know what lies ahead, but we can't leave our children a world without hope.
You're not as bad at this as you think. If you lead, the 7 kingdoms will follow.
Okay. So let's go ahead and address the Mara stuff. We only seen her one time in this trailer. First things first, that I've seen everybody multiple times. Mara, we seen once, and she just punches the thing. We saw his father more, we saw his mom more, and we saw Orm more. So, can we say she's been significantly cut down? Significantly, yes, because there's very much nothing for them to show of her at all whatsoever.
He had a family, but she's not around.
Deadbeat mother? That's her baby?
Deadbeat mother?
That's her baby?
I would imagine so, yeah.
They're not going to make it her baby. They're not going to make it her baby.
That has to be.
They're going to ruin it for you. They're not going to make it her baby. I think that's why they showed her a little bit. They're going to probably, I don't know, it's going to be somebody else's baby. I think it'll be Jason Momoa or Aquaman's baby, but it has to be somebody else's baby.
That'll probably piss me off. It can't be anyone else but her baby.
It could have been her baby in the earlier cuts, but I think to reduce her screen time, I think that they're gonna cut it down significantly because they didn't show her. They didn't show anybody at all whatsoever. Like they didn't show her at all. So, and how are they gonna explain that is her kid, but yet she's not around, or she gonna stay back and watch the kid?
Deadbeat mother, let me tell you.
Or maybe they do that. Maybe they do say that it's her kid, but then she stays back and watches the kid.
Man, I don't know. But it has to be her kid. I don't think it'll work any other way. But now I'm filled in because there was also a lot of people saying that Black Manta is going to kill this baby. Because in the comics, he kills that baby.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now then Meryl would have to go. Because there's no way that you're going to kill our baby and you're going to leave me here type shit, right?
Yeah. And
then that would be inexplicable. That'd be really bad. Unless they kill her in the beginning. What if they spare the baby and kill her?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where they can go with this. Highlight, honestly, Black Manta, I think. I think that's the only reason to watch.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that I've seen that gives me the same feel of, like, the first movie. Because the rest of it is just, like, the CGI just looks horrendous.
Yeah, what is up with this buttery-ass, like, thing? I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
Reshoots. Having to reshoot it because they had more. They like I said, this movie was done in 2021. There's no reason for it to have this shitty of CGI. It's reshoots. 100% it's reshoots. These are the what they had. Because even in The Flash, they had some really good certain scenes. But then there's other scenes that were really like that whole desert scene. Like there were some desert scenes that were really good. Even though it wasn't in the desert regardless. But then Keaton hitting the floor and no dirt moving anywhere. It's just a hard floor with dust going up in the air. Like, nah, man, that shit's weird, bro.
Yeah, a little weird. And again, we're spoiled people because we hit the peak with water scenes and Way of Water, and Aquaman can do it. Little Mermaid can do it.
Aquaman did it in the first one pretty good. They weren't too bad.
Yeah, but judging off this one, it's a whole environment. I feel. I think he worked better in the first one. I don't know. Even then, a lot of the green screen was terrible looking on land too. So
yeah, it looked kind of weird, huh? The one where he was when they zoomed into his face when he was crying, and then under the water when they zoomed into his face and he like pushed his spear. He pushed his spear, and the scene where he made that bridge that looked wonky too.
Damn, this movie.
Yeah, man.
Pray for Aquaman. I'm hoping it does good. At least there is a demand for it. I mean, if people like the first one this much,
judging off this trailer alone, is it making $1 billion?
Probably not. But we didn't expect the first one to make $1 billion either.
No, we didn't, huh? But they had a better backing because they had they obviously were exploring the water, stuff like that, and it was a new experience basically. So they had that to write on. This is no longer a new experience. This is a second movie. They expect better from this one, and from trailers alone, if it's not going to deliver, and on top of that, being part of the DC brand that has been failing for the past year since Shazam 2 released. It's so crazy to think that Shazam, The Flash, and this movie are all releasing it in the same year and just completely bombing at the box office. Last successful one was in 2022 with Black Adam, which is fucking insane. And that one was barely successful. Like,
well, Blue Beetle
smidgened.
Blue Beetle beat out his budget, so it's barely successful too. Scraped on by.
Oh yeah, past the 108 or whatever. But that's production. That's without marketing costs. So.
Man, there was not that much marketing. I'm sure they're fine. There was not much marketing.
Buck 50 of marketing. Here you go.
Yeah. I don't know.
You had the Blue Beetle battalion pushing the rest of it.
Shit, maybe. Yeah, and I mean they couldn't pay actors to go to red carpet or whatever, so sure it was a lot cheaper.
That's true too, huh? Everybody's on strike. They're saving some money. Still, Aquaman 2.
Did that look good to y'all? Like genuinely, like be for real, like we're not tripping, right? Like that looked a little weird. Black Manta is gonna be the shining star. I know it. He was one of my favorite things in the first one, besides Jason Momoa.
Unless you're mad that he said that it's clown work to do the role.
I don't think people know that. I think we know that.
We know that?
We know that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let everybody know. So, what happened is that about, I want to say in 2022, maybe mid-2022, when they were coming back for reshoots, and he was basically talking about and promoting, I believe, Candyman. Yeah. They asked him how he liked playing Black Manta in Aquaman, and he said that it's basically it's super easy. It's clown work that he goes in, plays his villain or whatever, generic, and then walks out and he's done. Where you're not gonna get the complexities out of an Aquaman movie that you would a bigger movie like Spielberg's or whatever, blah blah blah. And yeah, to me that was just like, wow. Though he does make it look easy. Don't get me wrong, I get easy work, but how are you gonna say clown work? Because you have some villains that give you that nuance and that extra, depth.
I know. And I think Black Manta is gearing up to be one of those things, and like just to be hindered and looked at differently because you're not taking it as seriously as someone else is, I guess. That's
true. And that's one big thing, because a lot of people take these superhero movies seriously.
Exactly. And there's not.
Are you one of the people that take it seriously?
My superhero movies? Yeah. I'll admit that. I don't care. I prefer quality over shit. So,
my man, you were writing for the Flash for so hard for so long. Like,
I'm not allowed to switch up opinions. Apparently, I'm not allowed to think something is shit.
I'm gonna always hold it against you all the time.
Yeah, well,
all the time.
Well, it's
to
ass.
the end of time.
I can admit it's ass. It's not good.
It's ass.
I can admit Suicide Squad 2016 is also ass, but I can still enjoy that.
You can enjoy it better than the Flash.
Mm-hmm. Even with Black Adam's faults, I could still enjoy that.
I can enjoy it. If you put the last 4 DC movies, Black Adam, Shazam, The Flash, and maybe this one. I haven't seen this one. Oh, Blue Beetle 5. Why do I keep forgetting about Blue Beetle?
I don't know.
That one's just like,
it's got to be racist. No,
that one's just obscure. So you put all those in front of me, I'd probably go rewatch Black Adam.
That's interesting.
Only because at the end we see Superman, and then you don't need to know much besides lightning hands, lightning, fighting, and Kandak. That's about it. That's all I remember.
That says more about you than anything else. But anyway, Aquaman 2, I'm not too sure if I'm going to go see it. But if I had hype around it, go see it for Black Manta. That's the best I can give. He looks badass.
Yeah, I like the scene where he flipped the trident smaller and it was green or whatever. That scene looked cool. Let me see if I can find it. Damn, my hand is wobbly. He looks pretty solid, but he still looks CGI too at the same time. Don't they put him in front of green screen and go ahead and body double? Don't they put him in an actual suit and actually walk with him? Because it looked like in a few scenes there's an actual suit.
That's why I imagine there is practical suits being used, but you still have to cake on CGI and stuff for water and things like that.
James Cameron didn't do that. But James Wan will. Yeah, Aquaman, everybody. You guys decide.
Not everybody can be James Cameron, man.
Damn. Everybody can aspire to be him, though.
No?
Oh,
no.
Okay. Well, somebody who's not being very, how would you say, somebody to look up to and admire.
She's kind of ass.
Yeah. Is Drew Barrymore. She wound up putting an apology, not really kind of an apology. This Twitter user said, "This is so lame. You're just a scab. We don't need all the throat clearing." So she's decided to, we talked about it in last week's episode, but she decided to go ahead and scab out. And what that means, for those that don't know, there is a writer's strike and I
don't know how you can't know. Hollywood has been affected drastically.
Well, you know what's funny? Not a lot of people know. And not a lot of people care. That's the weird part. And I think it's because of the fact that they're still getting their shows and stuff. The moment that, they stop getting what they're, looking forward to and everything. Even all these people on Twitter, they're like, oh, yeah, we stand with the WGA or whatever. And it's like, well, there's still, Margot Robbie's going out there now. Everybody, all these bigger names are starting to go out there. And it's like, well, because now they're losing out on work. But we're still getting the stuff that, we've been waiting on. Eventually, when that runs out, that's when everybody's going to get off of Twitter and be like, oh, we need, people to get more fair pay and blah, blah, blah. We've been screaming that out. But I think the studios know that it's like a muffled voice right now. And nobody's really paying close attention. And it's going to kind of get proven with a couple of articles that I have pulled up coming up right here. But there is a strike going on. It's the writer's strike. They're not getting paid fairly. They want to be used. Studios want to use AI.
Yeah.
Studios, I mean Paramount, Warner Brothers, Sony,
The big ones.
20th Century Fox, Disney, Iger, all them people. Like, they want to just copy, scan, and forever use everybody. If you guys seen The Flash, just imagine that. Imagine you make one movie, and from there on, they don't have to pay you for anything. They can use your likeness whenever they want, whenever they feel, and however they feel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Vin Diesel bringing back Paul Walker. If he didn't pay his family for using Paul Walker's face or something like that, they would need to, even though they have a digital scan of his face already, you know. And that's a big deal for the actors, and that's why they went on strike, because it's basically shit's rolling downhill. Now, we don't know how long this is gonna last for. Nobody's reaching in the middle and saying, "Hey, we'll meet you here, here, here." The studios feel like they have a proper spot, and they don't feel the need to want to have to make a career for these people, or not a career, but like a living for them, that they need to figure out a different living, maybe move up within the ranks, don't just be a writer. And other people are saying, well, as a writer, you should be able to live fairly and, you know, have at least access to health care, you know, access to money to afford health care and stuff like that. And if you heard our older episodes, you guys also know that they're basically asking for like 0.08%, 0.88%, 0.65%, 0.1357%.
Chump change
compared to what they're making.
Exactly.
Like, they're making so much money. So Drew Barrymore, her show went off the air when the strike wound up happening, because she does have the writers and all that she needs to make it happen. The writer strike has been going on for about 4 or 5 months. This the actors strike has probably been going on for about 3 months. I think they're 2 months late. So WGA is approaching 6 months. She thinks that she needs to save jobs, and she thinks that people are relying on her, not just writers, but, you know, crew and all that, people that hold the lights up and all that stuff and blah blah blah. She will kind of explain in this video, and I kind of just wanted to play it all through so you guys can understand the sob story that she is giving before we completely just talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's nothing I can do or say in this moment to make it okay. I wanted to own a decision so that it wasn't a PR protected situation, and I would just take full responsibility for my actions. I know there's just nothing I can do that will make this okay for those it is not okay with. I fully accept that. I fully understand that. There are so many reasons why this is so complex. And I just want everyone to know my intentions have never been in a place to upset or hurt anyone. It's not who I am. I've been through so many ups and downs in my life, and this is one of them. I deeply apologize to writers. I deeply apologize to unions. I deeply apologize. I don't exactly know what to say, because sometimes when things are so tough, it's hard to make decisions from that place. So all I can say is that I wanted to accept responsibility. And no, I don't have a PR machine behind this. My decision to go back to the show, I didn't want to hide behind people. So I won't. And I won't polish this with bells and whistles and publicists and corporate rhetoric. I'll just stand out there and accept and be responsible. There's a huge question of the why. Why am I doing this? Well, I certainly couldn't have expected this kind of attention. we aren't going to break rules and we will be in compliance. I wanted to do this because, as I said, this is bigger than me, and there are other people's jobs on the line. And since launching live in a pandemic, I just wanted to make a show that was there for people in sensitive times. And I weighed the scales and I thought, if we could go on during a global pandemic and everything that the world has experienced through 2020, why would this sideline us? So I want to just put one foot in front of the other and make a show that's there for people, regardless of anything else that's happening in the world, because that's when I think we all need something that wants to be there, being very realistic in very realistic times. So that is my why.
Now see, damn, I was just about to, god damn it.
They're the same picture, she says.
That felt more genuine than the Ashton Kutcher one.
Well, because I think it was genuine. I think that she actually feels bad, and I think that she does have a decision to make. I understand the spot that she's in. It's the way she's going about it.
That's the thing, right? It's they called this an apology video. It's not an apology video. An apology video is being sorry about what you're doing and stuff. She's explaining her reasoning as to why and continuing to do it.
But she is sorry.
And then she deleted it
because of the backlash.
Yeah, but I mean, you knew what was coming. She at that point she knows she's standing by her word. She should have been able to handle that, I guess.
Dang, it's better to just be quiet and do nothing during this strike. Basically. I don't agree. I think it is an apology video. And in a place where you are in charge. Now she did start the show in the pandemic. She pushed through because it is her talk show. She's not as big as Kimmel and Fallon right now where they can take a back seat and make money off their rewatched YouTube videos and just keep, sitting pretty for a good amount of time. She's still, having to deal with having to she still has to deal with having to pay for her people, produce this show to keep her money in her pockets, because what kind of deals does she make in order to even have this show on the air? What kind of contract does she need to fulfill, because she's technically not an actress when she's doing that. She's a talk show host personality. So yes, the writers are a big important part, but if she just wings it and does it on her own, in a way she's not breaking laws, but she's still producing for the AMPTP, if that makes sense. So that's where the big discrepancy comes through, in my opinion. The WGA did put out a statement just saying Drew Barrymore should not be on the air while the writers are on strike fighting for a fair deal. In reality, shows like this cannot operate without writing, and that is struck work. And that's where I'm like, if that's the case, and that's where I say, if that's the case, why did they give them a fair deal, or why did they give out passes in the first place? If we care about solidarity and we give a shit about what she's doing at this point in time, why didn't we worry about that? Why didn't we care when we were giving out those waivers in the beginning?
Because they were only handing out waivers to people that abided by the rules. She's not hiring writers. She's not even negotiating with them to be like, hey, if you guys come back, I'll pay you fairly or whatever. She's just going to do it without them.
Yeah.
She's just saying, fuck it. She's not paying them or being fair to anybody. At least with those waivers, they were like, hey, we'll get you work. We'll pay you fairly. Come back to work with us. And the AMPTP or the WGA and the writers are just like, okay, sure.
What if she's in a spot where she can't do that, though? Where she can't afford...
Then she should not be doing what she's doing.
Where she can't afford to do that. But she already made the deal and stuff that she needs to produce the show. That's the problem, is that she's in a rock and a hard place. Either produce the show, make money, and make a living, or let herself drop. That's where the decision comes in. And this is where I think that this is where I think it's going to get really rocky for everybody, because there's going to be some point, and I told you this, there's going to be some point where these actors and actresses, they're going to need work. They're going to need money. Eventually, you're going to see everybody out there because they're not going to have any work. They're not going to have any money. And this thing is going to keep going on because they don't want to. I don't feel that they don't have. I don't feel like they're making proper demands, and I don't feel like they're giving out fair deals either. Because how are you going to say that it's fair for other people to work, but it's not fair for me to work when I have my show on the line? It's not fair. So it's just not fair. You can't pick and choose. That's why I brought up what they said first, because if they're standing by that and saying that this is a strike right now, they struck this show, all the studios are under the strike, why are they giving out other people deals? There should not be deals being made at all until the union has all been completely dealt with. Hey, we're gonna pay you guys fairly. Everybody's gonna pay you fairly. It's not fair.
It's wrong regardless to go about it the way she is, because she's just saying fuck them. She's doing exactly what you said the studios would do or could do eventually. They could just be like, fuck them. We'll get new actors that aren't even part of the union. Shitty YouTube actors even. And they'll just be like, they'll make our movies. They'll be hits one day.
I don't feel like it's a fuck 'em moment though, because
it is. No, that's exactly what she's doing.
Because she even came out. She even said accountability. I'm coming out to own it. I'm not
just because you take accountability for clogging the toilet doesn't mean you didn't clog the toilet. You still clogged that motherfucker. Of course, you're gonna take responsibility for it.
Yeah, and she. What's wrong with that now? She's taking responsibility, but she's doing it anyways.
Exactly. That's still wrong.
Because she needs to work and supply a living for her and her workers. You don't think her workers deserve to get paid and fed too?
You're telling. I highly doubt.
So they need to stop their jobs and they need to lose their work because the writers are trying to get jobs and work.
I am sure there's a dime a dozen of camera work jobs and lighting work jobs and all that. They can go and fucking do plays. If
Devil's
that's the
advocate.
case.
There's a dime a dozen actors.
Not if they're all part of the union.
There's a dime a dozen actors. There's a dime a dozen writers. There's a dime a dozen other people. Like I told you before, and like how you brought up, the studios can't say fuck them and just keep going.
That makes them scum too.
And take AI and blah 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 blah. Yeah, but like I told you before too, not a lot of people know about this stuff. Not a lot of people know about the strike, and like I said, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But all the backlash that she got from this, you got Alyssa Milano coming out. I'll play the short clip.
I'm sure she had her reasons to do it. I do think every time someone decides to cross the picket line and go back to work, it impacts the strength of our movement. And I love her very much. I grew up with her, but I'm not sure that this was the right move for the strike. I'm sure in her eyes it's the right move for her and the show, but as far as the WGA and SAG and Union Strong, not a great move.
I think she gets it. Like, it's good for her and her show, but it's not good for the union as a whole. But then that's where I feel for her, because I don't think the video is disingenuous. I don't think that she made that video coming out saying like, oh, I'm gonna try to pull on people's heartstrings and I'm gonna make people forgive me and shit like that. No, she put out that video knowing damn well it wasn't gonna be received well. She at least wanted to tell people like, I know what I'm doing wrong, but this is what I have to do for my people. So in some eyes, she's doing wrong. Yeah, union, all that stuff, she's doing wrong. But in her crew's eyes, in the camera people's eyes, and the people that she knows eyes, that bond is stronger than the rest of the people that are fighting. And if she can do her job at the same time, not in her eyes, not cross the picket line, but she is crossing the picket line, then no harm, no foul on her part. But she's at least trying to do what's right, and it's not fair to these people. It's not fair, but at the same time, it's not fair to her either and her people.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm sure
you
those
can see the
people
dilemma.
Those people could have found more work. Camera people, lighting people, like there's always gonna be room for that shit. Hell, they could go on tour with fucking bands if they really wanted to. But I don't know. Continuing to do this, acknowledging it, sure, I will give her points for that because at least she came out and said something. But she loses points again because she deleted it. And I mean, there was articles saying that security of hers because it's a staged audience.
Yeah.
It's a live audience, that they're checking their bags and taking out things that say WGA or whatever.
Yes, and that's what we're gonna get onto now. So this is the video of the people that got kicked out. They were wearing strike, and this is where I told you already that people don't know that the strike is happening. So the Drew Barrymore show is still filming. There is a picket line outside of her studio and where she broadcasts live.
I would imagine.
WGA people, you know, the Krusty Krab is unfair. I'm sorry, that was a joke. It's they're out there. They have the picket line, so they showed up wanting to see the show. Mm-hmm. They come up. They're just like, hey. They're approached by these people. They're like, here, wear this shirt, wear these pins and badges or whatever. They walk in dressed like this. Okay, look at these pictures. Hold on. They walk in dressed in this attire, have the buttons on and everything. Okay, they walk in and they're basically approached by security and kicked out before they're able to explain where they got the gear and all that stuff. But they're basically wearing that gear into the show where, you know, she basically doesn't want... what I'm assuming is they're keeping security out so, you know, when they're filming the show, they don't want people standing up saying, strike, 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 whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want people interrupting the broadcast. But I'm going to let them say their part because they explain everything and how they were attacked. But keep in mind that this is the way that they walked in. They did not know that a strike was happening in the first place, and I think they addressed it in this video as well.
So we got tickets to the Drew Barrymore show today. We had no clue
there was a strike.
No clue there was a strike. No clue she was changing her statement or anything today. And we showed up and we saw the strike, and we were given pins.
We took our little buttons.
Yeah,
this is what got us kicked out of the Drew Barrymore show.
We were kicked out in the middle of everything after signing
verbally assaulted by her security officer. It's really cute that Drew Barrymore claims that she cares about her fans and wants her fans to show up for the show, and then we get kicked out for supporting what is right. Drew, you should do what is right. Support your writers and support your fans who are supporting your writers.
How far into the building did you get?
We signed the waivers.
Yeah,
we got in there, and then we went up to use the bathroom and got pulled over by a security officer. And he was like, "You're out."
How are you feeling now about Drew and about all of it in light of this?
I'm just really shocked.
Yeah,
to be honest, I had no clue she would turn her back like this, especially on her amazing writers. Like,
it's not about us; it's about the writers.
Yeah.
Well, what from this point forward? I mean, can you see a circumstance where you take another run at going to the show?
Probably not, no. Especially after we could see inside that they don't care about the fans, they don't care about the writers.
How large of an audience did you have a sense of? Or did you even see that far in?
I heard the number 175.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
All right.
Industry plants.
Those two?
I think that they were planted to go in there. 100%. I don't believe them. I believe them to an extent. If it's true and they didn't know, that pleads my case that not a lot of people are like
Their story doesn't make much sense though.
Yeah.
You take pins for something that you don't know. I'd just be like, no, I don't want whatever you're giving me. What the fuck? You're wearing a whole shirt, which doesn't make much sense either. So I can understand if they're being planted. You're wearing a whole shirt.
Yeah.
Not even anything underneath that bitch.
Yeah.
So you were ready to go. Because there's no way someone hands you a shirt and you're changing out right then and there. Oh, hey, dude, cool shirt. Like, no, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. And then right there in the middle of it, they're just like, oh, Drew, you should be doing the right thing and whatever. So I can understand that maybe they're fake people because their story doesn't add up fully.
Yeah.
If that's not the case and Drew kicked them out for not knowing but supporting, is that a whole nother problem?
I mean, because she didn't know that they were there, and the security just were doing what they were told. And if they are seen with wearing these attires, whatever, you can't be in there.
Does the lines? She draws those lines.
What did they want? Like, even if they took the pins in the shirt or whatever, what, you're gonna make them take off their whole shirt or something? Like, that would be.
That's the problem.
That would be weird. So what they do, they just kicked them out, and they even admitted that they were told, like, hey, you gotta go. They didn't pick their bags. So I know there was articles saying that they were picking their bags or whatever. They didn't do any of that. They just basically said that they had to go. They did say that they were talked to poorly by the security guards, saying that they were verbally assaulted when they were escorted outside. But But that's about it. Other than that, I'm like, well, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, she's not directly in the security field. She is preparing for her show, doing her stuff. The security has their orders. If you're in there looking like that, you're going to get kicked out. And I can maybe sympathize for not knowing, but how are you going to put on their shirt, put on their buttons, and you don't even... I mean, they could have explained it to you for like 2 seconds out there, but at the same time, you're there for the show.
They said they walked out, or they said they didn't even know going in, but they were completely oblivious about wearing their merch. In what way does that make any sense? Your Honor, I'm ready to take that example off the table because there's no way. I don't think that shows anything.
So you feel like this is an unreliable thing?
Yeah.
That
story makes no sense. Because again, you took pins and a shirt that I doubt he had nothing underneath. Homie was wearing a jacket over it. That was clearly his outfit for the day. Yeah. They're not gonna ask him to take off your shirt, and unless you did have a backup, then you already failed. You already know you're in there for some nefarious shit. You take pins about something you don't even do. Again, a normal person, especially in LA, would probably be like, "Fuck off." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you're giving me. I don't want it. You have a harder time giving shit to like Trump rally people. Exactly. And then you don't know what's going on, but at the end, I guess a Google search taught you what it was or whatever.
Yeah.
It's for you to be like, you should be doing it, Drew, or whatever. That doesn't make much sense. This video smells fishy.
Fishy. And this is what they're chanting. They don't even look like they're holding merch. Where are they pushing their merch at? Half these guys aren't even wearing that shirt or buttons. Am I tripping? Can you see that?
No, I can't see that from here. Oh yeah, no, they're like in normal attire.
Play, bitch.
It looks like they're in normal attire.
Yeah, I don't see any buttons on them. Why would they dress up in all buttons, all t-shirts? But look, this guy has no buttons, no WGA t-shirt. There, he has the picket sign, which I guess says enough. But why wouldn't you be all decked out in supporting gear? You're not gonna play? All right, you don't have to play. That's fine. We're done with you. But yeah, they have no gear on whatsoever. So it's like how they push merch to these two kids. Look, it looks to me. It just looks staged to me. That shit does look kind of staged. I seen this yesterday, and I looked into it yesterday, and I didn't see these pictures and stuff like that. This is the first time, but this shit looks staged to me. This looks like I'm a secret writer, and I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna blurt out a bunch of shit. And they thought they were gonna get to it, but being prematurely kicked out, I would understand why you're upset because you didn't even get past.
Yeah. Now, if you were randomly stopped, supported them, and were just like not wearing all this shit that said, "Hey, writer strike," whatever, then I could totally understand that. But no, you went in full geared. I think the WGA or whoever the fuck is planning these coups should really step back and be like, "Damn, maybe we shouldn't dress up our spies so heavily." They just have them walk in like normal fucking people, and then once you're in, you're already in the chair. Just shout what you need to shout, and then be escorted out. Be that guy.
Yeah, and this is his Twitter too, one of the guys that got out. So he even says too in the bottom, he says, "For clarification, we knew about the WGA strike, just not that they were picketing at the Drew show. We were unaware until inside that her show had WGA writers, thus crossing the picket lines by starting again. We won the tickets last minute and didn't do enough research, clearly. Wonder why. Hell yeah. That includes the workplace. Let's go right. Shame them. This is reflective of Hollywood in general, but they don't realize that they are all in this together. Drew Barrymore choosing to act as a scab hurts both in her and her writers. Yeah. People are really supporting this stuff, which, like I said, it's not a bad deal. I honestly believe they should be supported, but I think too she's in a rock and a hard place. So I think that's I think at the end of the day, that's where it's at. She's in between a rock and a hard place, and she's gonna have to do whatever she needs to do. But them also setting industry plans like that in order to be, outraged and everything. It's kind of smart tactic. It's like the Trojan horse type shit. But they figured out it was a Trojan horse.
The Trojan horse fucking was a inconspicuous gift before they came to that realization. Again, dress up your people better. Make them look normal. Don't send them in full geared out, because then, people are going to be like, hey, this person might cause trouble. That doesn't make much sense. You go in inconspicuously, and then once you're in there and they're like, oh, yeah, everybody applaud, we need to applaud, whatever, once Drew steps out, hey, fuck you, Drew, or whatever, and then, you know, you're already being escorted out, so it doesn't matter. You get your point across.
And then, like you said, if you were wearing that shirt, because he did have the jacket over, they both had it, they had it clearly showed up, and you guys did your research and knew about the strike and still put on that shirt and got gear somehow, some way, and all they did was give you pins in the front door. What does that tell you? You showed up knowing damn well what you were there to do.
Exactly.
And that's as simple as that. But I don't know. Whose side is everybody on? I don't know. I'm kind of on Drew's side. I understand. I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, if you guys want solidarity, in my opinion, if you want solidarity, it needs to be fair all across the board. If Jimmy Kimmel, all these people are putting off their show, she should most definitely do that. But at the same time, I shouldn't see actors over there getting waivers to, do an A24 movie or to do this movie or do whatever, while I'm over here and my crew is over here suffering. That's not good either. No. You can't pick favorites. Everybody should have been on strike. All production shut down. A24, you should be banging at the big studios' doors for us. Hey, we can't get work because you motherfuckers aren't meeting them halfway. If we could do it, you could do it. Let's figure it out. They should be standing in solidarity as well. Whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think all of Hollywood should be shut down, but it's not, and that's the problem. It's not Drew's fault that she needs to make a decision at this point. It's the cards that she was dealt, and she's gonna have to do what she has to do.
No, I completely disagree. I believe it is her fault. I believe that although she takes accountability, that does not mean she's safe from what she's doing. And then again, she deleted it.
She deleted it because of the backlash, though.
That doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, because if you were standing by your word and putting out a video to stand by said word,
it's all over the internet now. Let everybody else comment under everybody else's thing. I don't need to hear these notifications pop up on my phone.
You can mute tweets.
Oh, you're a scab, you're this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you do that, you're still going to look bad. Just everybody has the video now. I was able to find it without even going to Drew Barrymore's page. Everybody has the video now. It's all over the place. It made news. Everybody knows about this. I could move on. I could just do my show and that's it.
No.
I see what she's doing. It makes sense. It's just I understand the backlash that she's getting, and I understood it when I was hearing this stuff that she was gonna.
Do you have Bill Mayer up here?
Bill Mayer,
whatever his name is.
Oh, the guy we talked about last week. What about
him? There was things going around saying that he's starting his show again too.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll probably talk about that on the next episode because there's some developing things going on with that I'm waiting for. Okay. This is what I meant by they're prolonging this and doing this for so long that it's going to get to the point where the studios are going to have to chug along and it's going to split down the middle. And then it's going to come back to this moment where, well, you guys weren't standing in solidarity either because you were giving waivers to other people. So then you're going to have that split and divide where it's like, well, they gave waivers to other people, but at the same time, we got a living to make and shit like that. It's going to be a big ass tug and pull. And then eventually, if they don't get their shit together and if they don't find a common ground, the studios will win because at least at the end of the day, they're going to be producing, hopefully, good products with AI. And they're not going to need these writers. So if they don't all stand their ground at one time, and I'm pretty sure Drew would do this as well. Like, I feel like if they said everything shut down, A24, you're not getting waivers anymore, contracts are canceled, everybody's on strike, no more. I'm sure Drew would shut down her shit, and at that point, everybody will be shaking. But nobody's going to be shaking because at the end of the day, like I told you before, A24 is getting a waiver, but they're still connected by some distribution company that's going to the ANPTP, and they're still giving them some kind of money. So it is crossing the picket line to an extent, but they're saying that it's okay because it's a smaller company who's meeting the demands, and that's still feeding them a little bit of money. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. Shut it all down or don't.
No, I don't think we're gonna be budging. I can't agree. I can't get behind that.
And I get that. I understand why. And that's what I'm just more explaining that this is gonna be the divide now, and you're gonna start seeing this kind of stuff. Like I said, I still stand with the WGA and the union. And I still think that they deserve their fair pay. But with everything that's happening,
and like, what's to say if her show fails, this whole ordeal, and then she decides, I don't know.
She's making her bed.
She wants to go back to acting or whatever. Who's to say they won't blackball the fuck out of her?
Well, that's what I'm saying, too, is like, she better make sure the move that she's making is worth it. I think that's what I would say at the end of all this, too. the move that she's making better be worth it. This better be a successful thing, and as soon as the strikes are done, that she will sign the deal with the rest of them, sign writers on, be like, I'm sorry, do this big apology tour, bigger than what she's doing right now. Obviously, there's not much you can say when you're saying you're sorry and still sticking the knife in. You know what I mean? There's not much you can say besides say, I apologize. I know that I'm being counterproductive, but at the same time, I need to do what's good for my people. So the only way that she's going to make it out of this alive is if she wins. And if she wins and then signs writers at the end of it, if this show fails, she will completely need to go into exile for a few years. Yeah. For a few years, and then eventually come
Pray
out
for
of
Drew
hiding.
Barrymore,
She's going to be
everybody.
like Roseanne, basically.
Oh, my God. But she was racist.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen her recently. She made an appearance on Fox News with, or no, I think she was on Tucker Carlson's show on X or Twitter.
Of course.
And she was going on this big ass tirade, and I was just like, "Yep, that's why they canceled her." And I just kept scrolling. I was like, "This is the reason, Roseanne." She was like, "I don't know why this happened." I was like, "You need to."
I can show you. We can tell you why it happened.
We could replay the tape, and you will see.
You are very racist.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're on Fox right now. It's because you're very racist.
Yeah. So Drew Barrymore is in a tough spot. Hopefully, she clears. She's obviously very sorry for everything she's doing. She's just not gonna. This is the divide that's going to be happening now. We need to know what side you guys are on. Like I said, you could still be on the writer's side and still support them, but still understand the issue that is happening with Drew Barrymore right now. But moving on, Shawn Levy is now the topic of conversation because he let out a lot of things. And one thing that he let out is something that we didn't know about, and that's about a Star Wars movie.
He's doing a Star Wars movie?
Apparently, he's going to get a Star Wars movie. That everything halted because he was at the TIFF Media Studio promoting All Lights We Cannot See, a Netflix limited series. He basically touched up on everything that he's been developing. Deadpool 3, apparently we're getting a Real Steel TV adaptation that was put on pause as well.
That could be cool.
And that a Star Wars movie. That during the strike that he started the process of developing the movie, and then the writer's strike happened, and so everything's on hold right now. He has the Real Steel, he has the Star Wars on hold supposedly, and that's it, right? Just those two projects. So he has those two projects on hold as of right now.
The Real Steel and the Star Wars one.
Mm-hmm.
The Real Steel one sounds very appealing.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that. I thought the franchise would have kept going in some shape or form.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of like taking boxing and just flipping it on its head.
Yeah.
I've told you about that anime of Megalo Boxing. Like that's a good one. Like
Yeah.
like if we could if the Creed one is coming out whenever that is, but that's getting anime adaptations too. Like I'm a big fan of this, and Real Steel was one of my favorite Hugh Jackman movies too. So.
Mm-hmm.
If that all plays out well, I'm down for that. As far as the Star Wars movies go, I think we got a hint of that shit in the Adam Project, right?
Kind of, yeah.
I think he could probably do it. It would just have to be a question of what he's doing it about.
Yeah, I don't know about a Star Wars movie either. I don't really see him as a Star Wars guy. I know they made a big deal about like that whole Star Wars not Star Wars trilogy, the Shawn Levy trilogy with Ryan Reynolds or whatever, the Adams Project, Deadpool 2, right, and now Deadpool 3.
Ryan Reynolds in Star Wars?
Hell no. I love Ryan. I don't know how he do in Star Wars. He plays the same dude in every single movie he does now, so I really don't want him to do that in Star Wars. If he could change it up, that's fine. But like you seen him in like Hobbs and Shaw.
What if we make him like a cocky pilot?
Too Ryan Reynoldsy. He's already made his name as like Deadpool and all that, and it would just I feel like it would take you out of Star Wars. He would have to do something different that would completely revamp his image that he does not want to do, because that's his persona for everything. That's how he is. And I get it. It's just a little bit more range, Reynolds. Just a little bit more. Like you don't want to be known for that like all your life. And I know he can do horror and stuff like that because he done Amityville and all that. And that the Coffin one that I seen on Hulu a while ago. There's a few good movies that I know that he can do. It's just more. Come on, range, man, range.
Yeah.
Free Guy. Come on, Free Guy, bro. Like that's not really Star Warsy for me. But Shawn Levy getting one was kind of out the blue because we never heard him even they didn't
Never
announce
mentioned
it. Then nobody announced it, but it seemingly is confirmed by Taika Waititi and confirming as well in this TIFF award that he seemingly will not be able to finish his Star Wars. So W for you, maybe.
We won. Fuck yeah. Keep this motherfucker away from Star Wars. Jesus. Thank God. Holy shit. I'm sorry. I gotta celebrate a little bit. Bring out the champagne.
You didn't even let
or
him
something.
say it.
Nah,
you didn't even let him say it.
No. Taika, I'm respectfully fuck off from Star Wars. Thank God. There's no way. Holy shit.
Can you let me play the damn thing?
Yeah. And then I'll celebrate some more.
Okay, here we go.
That so often pits high art
That's kinda
versus
low.
high sales. We're lucky to have a director like Shawn Levy. He's there. So much of Shawn's work is high concept with big
Can you hear?
premises. He dazzles us with special effects, CGI, and animation. But what sets him apart is that he never sacrifices the humanity at the center of his stories. Maybe that humanity all starts on set. He treats his casts like family, albeit big families, with big names like Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Steve Martin, Winona Ryder, and Beyoncé. Okay. In Shawn's words, and this is an exact quote, the secret to being a good director is the same as being a good father. Be a fun dad. Encourage play. Don't abandon them. And if they aren't listening or doing what you want, beat them. End quote. Shawn. Shawn has resisted the comfort of sameness in his career, resulting in work that is audacious in its range of genres, but always retains his signature humanity and heart. From Cheaper by the Dozen to Date Night to Real Steel to Arrival to The Adam Project, and now the bold filmmaking shift of his newest work, All the Light We Cannot See. He's currently making his own Deadpool movie with his Canadian soulmate, Ryan What's-His-Face, and co-starring one of those other annoying Australians, the guy from The Australian. After he's had his way with that franchise, like a cruel, indiscriminate virus, he'll move on to another, and another, and another, and then eventually probably Star Wars. And unlike me, let's hope he manages to finish a script for that. And then, of course, there's the insanely popular Stranger Things that has captured the hearts of people of all ages, while also ruining Kate Bush for all of them too.
That's basically it. And then he rambles on. I don't find him funny. I don't find any of the little things that he's doing. The fact that, like, grow up, man. Like, you think it's funny that you can't read a teleprompter with people's names? Like, Hugh Jackman. Like, bruh. That's unnecessary. And that is, like, some stupid comedy that is just dumb. Like you said, W, that it sounds like he's not fully confirming it, but it sounds like he's not going to be doing this Star Wars project. Yeah. Shawn Levy said that he was starting the development. We're hearing that he's going to be getting there after Deadpool. I don't know. Who would you rather have, Taika Waititi or Shawn Levy?
Shawn Levy.
Okay.
I don't give two fucks.
That was fast.
Yeah. I would rather have Shawn Levy. We've seen him do mystical, or I guess not mystical, but science fiction things in the Adam Project and stuff. I could see him taking a stab at it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did do a lot of good things with that one. And I'm not going to say he's bad, because even in Free Guy, it was pretty good too. I really liked Free Guy as well, even though it was kind of goofy and shit.
Yeah, his style just works with Ryan, and that's the weird thing.
I think he could do more, though, because, I mean, Real Steel was really good too. He did Cheaper by the Dozen. That was okay, actually. No, that one wasn't really good. I think he did the new Cheaper by the Dozen.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. That one was crazy. But you could always tell when it's like studio interference, and I feel like that one was like Disney interference right there. But give him a pass for that. I would rather see a Shawn Levy Star Wars too, but I would also try to keep him away for a little bit too, until he can prove that he can do a little bit more sci-fi. I mean, Adam Project was pretty sci-fi-y, but it wasn't like out of this world either. It was more like a time travel type thing.
Oh yeah, but it still had like lasers and things like that, and spaceships and whatnot. So like
I gotta rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a while.
He dabbled in it, and then I think they even have like a lightsaber kind of thing too. So he's clearly a fan. To some extent.
I mean, in Free Guy they had a lightsaber thing.
Well, then he must be a fan to a certain extent.
I mean, I believe he's a fan. It's just more like, can you not make it not goofy? That's just my thing. Like, I don't think everything needs to be goofy. But another good property that he might have luck with is Avengers Secret War. In this interview as well, he kind of was asked if he heard the rumor, and he basically gave a little bit of tea on Deadpool and went ahead and just left it at it as it was. And I don't know if it means that he's going to be doing it. Is he not? I don't know, but you let me know from how he says it.
Me.
What can you tell us about the process of shooting so far? How have things been going? Can you give us any hints?
Well, I feel like, the world got a little bit of a hint because we decided early that it's Deadpool's first movie in the MCU, yes. Right? It's Wolverine's first movie in the MCU. And so there was this assumption that, you're part of the MCU, it's going to be like all digi and, like set extensions. It's going to be like, lots of visual effects on parade. But our first decision, very early, Ryan and I decided Deadpool, people love Deadpool, obviously because it's funny. Above and, everything else, it's funny. But it's raw. It's a little gritty. Yes. It's not trying to be slick or too polished. And it's definitely not like aliens fighting in space environments. Yes. It's real world grounded. So we decided we were going to shoot the vast majority of this movie outside in the world.
Right.
We don't want it to look like set extensions on sound stages.
There's a big old rumor out there that when you're done Deadpool that it might be Avengers.
I read that rumor, and that's all I'm going to say.
His face reminds me of the Grinch. So bad.
Oh, damn. Don't do him like that.
I'm not trying to be mean, but when he smiled, it kind of reminded me of the Grinch. Deadpool 3, I'm glad that he's putting that to rest. I mean, we did see the behind the scenes pictures. We saw the Fox thing and all that. So we're getting some real life location. Who knows how much more they shot in green screen rooms or something like that before the shutdown. I think earlier in the interview too, I didn't show it to you, but he said that him and Ryan are basically editing whatever they have so far. So it sounds promising for Deadpool 3, at least on that front with the whole digital thing. And it's funny that this rumor and all that stuff is hitting him, because this should be hitting Fahey too. Like, this is an actual thing. People are scared that, it's going to look too CGI and you're not going to get an actual performance like you did in like the original Deadpools, or even back when Iron Man 1 came out, or Captain America, So, I mean, that's a good thing to put to rest too, right?
Well, maybe. Yeah, but Feige isn't going to see that. Not until numbers start affecting him too. We had the hiccup with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that's the only loss he's taken in a while. Everything else is being panned good or whatever, depending on if they pay off Rotten Tomatoes and things like that. Box office is saying they're still in the green until the formula starts failing. Box office wise, he's not going to change up.
I mean, I think the box office is speaking though. Thor Ragnarok Love and Thunder didn't do that well either.
Two losses.
It did good, but it didn't do like 800 million like we thought it was going to do. 800 or more. And then Multiverse of Madness barely scraped that. What recently came out? Nothing, huh? The thing that's going to come out is the Marvels. That's going to really shell shock Marvel for sure whenever that happens. But I don't know, man. That shit, I would have thought Marvel would have understood by now. Like, hey, yo, if Shawn Levy can come in these interviews and say people are telling me that digi doubles and Fahey should know about this shit. Like, he should know what the internet's saying. And if he doesn't, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, he's too high up on his throne to hear us. So
that's fucked up.
It's true. But,
and you think he's directing Secret Wars?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't want him to.
I don't think he's built for that caliber.
Yeah,
yet.
No, there's no way. He'd fail drastically.
That's a big order. Sam Raimi, I'm hearing, is in the cards too.
I heard that.
I wouldn't do that either.
He does better when it's like solo stuff.
Yeah.
When you can focus on one character and give him that development. Honestly, man, their safe bet would have been the Russo brothers, but I know they're not coming back.
Yeah, that's not happening again. They wouldn't do that again, which is crazy to me because they made it happen. I guess you could say it got a little rocky with Endgame. Some people really liked it, but it just didn't pass up, or it didn't surpass Infinity War, right?
Yeah, if Infinity War is their peak, then that's fine, because that was really good. But I mean, if history says they can do it again, and we've seen it in the hands of, Joss Whedon, and he can't do it.
Yeah, well, he can. He did the first Avengers.
No, Man, we are past the first Avengers, and that shit has aged poorly. Don't give me that.
Age of Ultron?
People don't like Age of Ultron.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad, though.
I like Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
People don't like Age of Ultron.
All right, well, don't fucking...
They're not going to give it back.
Don't say it too loud.
Ain't nobody, and I mean, they're not going to have any support if he touches that, especially after Justice League.
Yeah, no, Josh Whedon is not coming back.
He's
not coming back.
He's a goddamn hermit right now.
I think he's going to be out of Hollywood for like a good minute until...
Ryan Johnson?
Josh Whedon.
No, Ryan Johnson.
Oh, Ryan Johnson? No, he's still good. He's just...
No, I'm talking about for Secret Wars.
Oh, for Secret Wars? No. Too much baggage. They're going to be like, look what you did to Star Wars. We're not going to let you touch Marvel. Too much baggage. I would want to see a Marvel movie out of him, but I don't know if he has it in him. I think it's too controversial.
I think Sam Raimi should stay far away from a big roller coaster like the Avengers and stuff, just because of what happened. And I can interference between him and Sony, obviously, and then the way Kevin Feige got his dirty hands on Multiverse of Madness.
I wouldn't say Sam Raimi either. Only not all that aside, he can't do ensemble films. I don't think he's able to do that unless it's like a horror movie. At that point, then he could probably do a little bit.
Give him the horror Avengers or something.
the ones that die one by one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shawn
I don't
Levi.
know.
All this stuff is up in the air. Who knows? Everything's still on strike regardless, like we talked about with Drew Barrymore and all that already. It's just what to do next.
Yeah.
What to do next.
Basically.
But I guess what Sony plans to do next is to start a new studio and implement AI. And this is what I meant when I told you that these people are going to go ahead and start pushing and start chugging along without approval. Because now they're going to start a new studio. It's going to be called H Collective. It's going to be one of their first projects is going to be a sequel to Brightburn. It's going to incorporate technology like artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and Web3 into its projects. One of the projects will be a sequel to Brightburn. During the time writers and actors are on strike for protections against AI, H3 Entertainment's founders ensure that it will respect professionals and fans while promoting responsible technology integration.
Wow, bullshit.
And if you guys want which studio is doing this, it's Sony.
Bullshit.
And the only reason why they're starting it under a new studio brand is because they don't want Sony to be tied up in all this. Which is crazy.
I believe it.
I believe that. Yeah.
I wouldn't want my name attached to a failure right out the gate either. That is gonna be so ass. Even if you had a big marketing thing like Brightburn, shit, like good luck, man. Because no, this is not gonna work out the way they think it is. And even if somehow they manage to generate a whole script, they need actors.
Scabs, bro. They're gonna happen. It's gonna happen, bro.
No,
it's gonna happen.
And they're gonna do Brightburn without the kid. They're going to make that drastic change?
Well, here's the thing, right? So, even the kid came out before. He was an up-and-coming actor. He was new to the game. He wasn't even like a known actor at all. If he is willing to come back, because I don't think he's done any more projects from my knowledge. If he comes back, he's even said, too, because I think at the end of the movie they teased, like, evil Aquaman, evil
like an
Wonder
evil
Woman,
Justice League type thing.
If that happens, he would want them to be all up and coming cast, like new, so they can basically give like shots to obviously new faces.
No, this is gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, Jackson A. Dunn. He's only done. Oh, he was in Endgame.
Is he not the kid from Iron Man 3?
Is he?
I don't know. I thought he was. Am I tripping?
No,
you have the cast right there, no?
You know, he's not in Iron Man 3.
What was he doing in Endgame?
Well, I don't know. That's the question. But he was in Brightburn, The Scent of Rain and Sand. Yeah, no, I don't know what role he played in Endgame. Let me see.
Here's the thing, though.
Tell me.
With taking this dangerous route,
Mm-hmm.
we know Sony's attached to this shit. Regardless if it's a new production company, whatever, we know they're tied to it to some degree. They will get so much backlash. They will do whatever they can to survive. I see it. But oh man, a Brightburn sequel.
Oh, he played.
Sounds terrible.
He played young Scott Lang when he turned into a kid in the suit.
Oh, okay.
He was him.
Okay, weird. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't even think I was asking for a Brightburn sequel, let alone it be done by AI.
I was actually asking for a sequel. I think this movie was good. I know that it was produced by your arch nemesis James Gunn.
The Banes of my
It
existence.
was written by his brothers, and I think it was a good push ahead. I think it showed new ground that could be broken. I think it did really well. Superhero horror genre. Imagine that. That's so groundbreaking. I'm super surprised this movie only got a cult following. But at the same time, this is what it's what happens with all the greats. Fucking Halloween, Scream, Friday the 13th. Like how you said, you don't even remember in the first one that it was his mom killing the whole time. It wasn't until the second one that Jason wound up coming out. But it was so quote unquote bad. It wasn't that as great as the other ones with Jason that it was kind of left to the side and only has like a cult niche following. You know. This is one I felt like this movie did that, broke first ground. Like this is a new direction. We're actually getting horror within cinema. When people were like, "Oh, Doctor Strange is doing it" or whatever, blah blah blah, with Sam Raimi, I was like, "Bullshit! We already got Brightburn. Like, where's that love?" I don't know what happened. I don't know because I wasn't in tune, and maybe I'll do a little bit of digging later on. But I wasn't in tune on why this movie didn't really do super well. But this movie for sure will get a cult following, and I would want to see a second one. It's just, I mean, if they're gonna implement AI, sure, that's fine. If you guys are gonna try it out, fine. But I wouldn't say do it without the writers either, so they can, at least proof it before you go balls deep into AI. You know what I mean? Like, dip your toe in first. Don't just print out a whole script. And if that's the case and it winds up working out and it winds up doing really good, can you really say it's bad?
Yes, because you're replacing the writers. That's bad. Bad AI. Bad Sony. Bad. It's all bad. Ooh, Wooka Chugga. Caveman.
Wooka Chugga. Wooka Chugga.
But yeah, no, that sounds ridiculous. I don't know if I'm for all that.
So you're not down?
No.
You're not down for this?
Nope. Maybe if it was written by people.
Sure. Did you like the first Brightburn movie?
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty good. A one and done, I think, for sure. Like, I don't need a whole thing diving into a dark Justice League or whatever. That's the last thing my superheroes need at the moment.
What? They don't need a Justice League Dark or like a dark universe?
No.
Like an evil version of...
No.
Why? We're getting it with the boys.
It's not the same.
What?
It's not the same. You don't understand, man.
DC, make me understand.
DC movies and DC superheroes as a whole have been under so much stigma lately. I am quite frankly tired of it. We got MCU 2.0 coming out of James Gunn and Warner Brothers. We got the boys and all that fucking up Superman's reputation, Omni-Man, Invincible. So many things tainting the actual branding heroes. I know they can't I know DC can't exactly sue them or whatever, but like that shit's crazy. We can make the comparison that Homelander's supposed to be Superman or whatever, and this guy, the Brightburn kid, is supposed to be Superman if he was evil. I don't need that stigma anymore. I'm kind of done with it.
But they don't call him Superman, so it makes it okay.
That's what I'm. Yeah. But we know it's supposed to be him. Oh, foreign kid from an alien planet gets sent to Earth. Where have we heard that before? We've heard that billions of times. Their names change. Superman, Goku, this kid, Homelander, Omni-Man. Like,
but why is it necessarily bad though? Why is it bad for the DC brand if this is a whole separate universe?
It's bad because we associate that with them.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
You don't associate the boys with Justice League.
How? What do you mean? Homelander is supposed to be Superman.
They do such a good job with like making it be like parroting, and I get that. Like, what's that Wonder Woman, that girl, whatever, and then
the Deep and
Aquaman. Yeah, that it's more like a parody thing. So that's how they kind of play it off. They're gonna take a different route with Gen V, and we're gonna see how that plays out because it's gonna be kind of like, in my opinion, a parody of the X-Men. If that makes a little bit of sense to you. So you can tell that they're parodying. This is the first movie that took the horror genre seriously with superheroes. So it's a completely different lane. Completely. 100%. Because The Boys is a parody. And this is a completely different lane too that can completely disassociate itself without saying we need to parody these people. All they got to do is make their own lane, horror genre, superheroes. What if fucking scary the super being that landed here that in some other media is hopeful and is supposed to be the savior person, what if they flipped that shit upside down and he did not have that good upbringing and chose a different way?
No,
that it's a completely different lane
the
that
same thing.
I think it could thrive. I just think maybe it was getting a little desaturated because they were doing those things with Injustice and stuff like that. But that's their fault. They parodied themselves at that point. If it was other people parodying them, I think DC did it on their own when they decided to parody themselves by making Injustice. And they've done it before too with that what's that one animated one? The one where I told you I like when Batman's like, no, Flash, don't do it because you're not going to be able to handle it or whatever. No, damn well he could. But
Crisis on 2 Earths.
Yeah, that one. If DC's going to do it to themselves, you're not going to point the finger and be like, oh, you're doing it to me. No, DC did it on their own. Brightburn was making its own lane, and The Boys is making their own lane by being that parody.
The Crime Syndicate is still a shit idea. What do you call them? The Seven Justice League, man.
Yeah, I understand. I think that's where the disconnect is coming in.
You called it the Dark Justice League.
No, and that's what I'm telling you is that it's disassociated, but it gets associated because of the fact that DC did it to themselves. It was disassociated. Everybody knows that it's kind of like a what if kind of thing, but it's not completely associated to Justice League or anything like that. It wasn't until DC themselves made Injustice, did that Crisis on Earths kind of stuff, where they dipped into that mindset where, these heroes can be bad. And that's where bad Superman, bad Batman came from, but Batman Returns, all that stuff. They parodied themselves and they made themselves have a certain fan base that likes these people this way and likes these people that way, instead of having a singular vision on where these people were supposed to go. They did that on their own. Marvel's done it too, but they've only done it in comic books. And now with the whole What If series with the zombies and stuff like that. But other than that, they don't do that to themselves.
No.
The Boys parodied these people. Kind of like what Scream did, or Scary Movie did with Scream and all the genres when it was coming out. They made their own lane.
No, because they're only doing it to DC superheroes. And
Marvel too?
Where?
Soldier Boy?
Okay, that's true. That's one.
Soldier Boy, isn't Starlight supposed to be like what's her face?
I don't
like
you
Wanda?
tell me that I was supposed
like
to...
Wanda just with lights or something?
No, I don't think so, no.
No? Who do you think Starlight's parodying then?
I'm sure there's somebody, but nobody that comes to mind.
Black Noir? Black Panther?
A-Train, The Flash, or Quicksilver.
Either one. Translucent?
Invisible Woman.
Yeah. So I think they get it from different places. I mean, the Asian dude that got his ear smacked in by Homelander, that was Daredevil all the way. You remember?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he's blind. So what happens if you
that scene sucks. I don't know, but I just know I'm probably not looking forward to a Brightburn sequel by AI.
Yeah, if this is going to be the first major dip, obviously skepticism is going to come behind it. It's just what's going to happen with the WGA when that happens. And, it smells trouble, because if they successfully do it and people don't care, like how I said, like either people really don't know about this or people just really don't care. And if they don't care and they're just like, I want my entertainment, it could spell trouble, especially with how long it's going so far with this union strike. It's gonna spell trouble. They need to find a solution, and they needed to find it yesterday.
I think if movie enjoyers and cinephiles or whatever are as big as a majority as they are, they would steer clear from this movie and do something to be like, don't watch this shit.
The thing is that
like if I see Soups, Straw Hat Goofy, things like that promoting such a thing where they're basically saying fuck you to, whatever, like the writers and actors and stuff, it's a problem.
Well, they're not going to, because I think they both have not even spoken about movies at all whatsoever.
I don't know.
I Straw Hat Goofy I'm hardly seeing on my feed anymore, and Soups too, but when I do see them, they're doing other things. They're not necessarily watching or talking about movies or anything like that. So,
well, the last thing I know, he promoted, I think Soups promoted Blue Beetle, and that was about it.
Yeah, and then he got backlash for it or something.
I think so. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
Either which way, just to end this episode on the highest of high notes, just for one last W for you, Josh. Maybe a W for the whole world. But a Bad Buddy, a.k.a. Benito, is no longer going to be in the El Muerte spin-off movie.
Word?
I guess, obviously, last year at CinemaCon, Sony had announced this movie and saying that Bad Bunny will be playing El Muerto.
Yeah.
Everybody said who asked for this and who wanted it. Talking to Vanity Fair, he was asked about the status because Sony did push it off the calendar.
Yeah.
That it would not be out premiering when it said it would. And that's obviously due to the strikes, but maybe as well because of Bad Bunny's schedule.
That's why he ran into scheduling problems at one point before that.
Yeah, so he said in an awkward silence, I don't know what to say. The situation is delicate. And then his publicist chimed in saying, obviously, it's out.
Oh, okay.
So his publicist basically, he was kind of beating around the bush, wondering whether or not he should say or confirm he's not going to be a part of it, or who knows if he's going to, I'm guessing he probably doesn't know the logistics when it comes to like how long the WGA strike's going to be and stuff like that. When is the production going to go? And because he has touring, who knows if the next time he's off is when the strike is going to be over and he can immediately start filming. If not, then they're just going to, if the strike's over and he's in the middle of a tour, they're going to have to go a different direction.
Yeah, thank God. Sorry, I don't think you're cut out to be an actor. Not at this time. Not after seeing you in Bullet Train.
You felt like he was bad in Bullet Train?
He didn't give much in Bullet Train to begin with.
Well, then how do you not know that this could have been his career-defining movie? El Muerte takes on Spider-Man.
Because they wasted him regardless. He was just someone, I deadass think he was just someone to bring in cash. People know who Bad Bunny is.
Damn. Oh, yeah, because he was kind of hot off the tour when they announced this and stuff like that, too, huh? Benito and all that shit. I don't know. W, then?
W.
W? All right.
W for Spider-Man fans, Sony fans, things like that. I don't know if the movie entirely is done and they'll just choose someone else.
Let's hope that it's just completely done.
Let's just hope it's gone for sure.
But I don't think anybody was asking for this either.
Of course not. I don't know anybody who was asking for this. But we dodged a bullet. Thank you for making that and taking this loss, I guess.
Just putting it out of its misery.
Basically.
Very good. But that is going to be our last topic. El Muerte is not happening as of right now. WGA strike is still happening. Drew Barrymore went into hiding. Not really. She's kicking out people. We got Batman Day, and we talked about nothing but pure goods and villains today. So big W for us. But with that being said, Josh, go ahead and let the people out there one more time know where they can talk to us, catch our live streams, support us in a big way. Yeah.
Well, you can catch our live streams at Twitch at Filmbros.
Sorry.
You can catch our Twitch, or you can catch our live streams on Twitch at Filmbros Podcast. That shit was unnecessarily loud. You can subscribe to our YouTube at Filmbros Podcast. We are now caught up, so you can catch us. Every episode is up there. Go ahead and do that. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Filmbros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news, movies, or topics you want us to cover. Shows or movies, sorry. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, things like that. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, the link is in those bios. Subscribers get special perks and shout outs just for subscribers. So go ahead and do all that.
Good? You cleared it?
Yes.
And with that being said, we will talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.